I saw this story and I went, that's a really interesting conversation, but I don't know if we're really set up to have it tonight. But I was like, I'm not feeling very well, so this will do for the last story. So this might end up being just an interesting kind of chill conversation about what's going on, and then we may get back into it on another night. So basically, there is a group who have employed lawyers to send letters to ministers and to entities that work in gender care areas.
Oh, cool.
And what it sounds like is the lawyers' letters are basically going, just between me and you. Yeah, you better be a bit careful around these things. Like, it has this feeling, honest held belief lawyers, of a bit of a shakedown. You know, it's like, and I've put in the title, it's a slap suit. It's not a slap suit. I am being hyperbolic for sure, because a slap suit implies that you're bringing legal action just to cause the person financial harm. It's not that, but it's sort of, I don't know quite how to describe it. Maybe that's why I'm kind of giving this introduction and saying I don't know if we're at the right time to actually talk about this. But let's have a listen. Let's have a listen to the conversation. I've got a few things to show you as well. And yeah, we can chat about this now, and then we can maybe revisit it as this goes on.
All right. Who did you write to, and what did you write to them saying?
We wrote first to the ministers, it's now 3 ministers.
Sorry, by the way, Stephen Franks, former ACT MP, lawyer with, is it called Franks Ogilvy, something like that, his company?
We wrote first to the ministers, it's now 3 ministers, in mid-January, saying that we'd been instructed to look at the risks to professionals who are involved in what they call gender affirming care.
So we wrote to the ministers to instruct them that we're going to have a look at the individuals involved in gender affirming care. So lawyers' letters to ministers of the Crown saying, we're going to take a look at this. You know what I mean by it feels like a bit sort of shots across the bow, so to speak? Like, what?
Yeah,
you can have a look at whatever you want. Why are we informing the ministers about this?
In view of the Cass report, essentially, the UK government commissioned report that looked at...
Which has been hugely discredited, by the way, the Cass report. Yeah, anyway, that's a debate for another night, maybe.
Whether there was evidence enough to justify the harm that's caused by many of the gender-affirming care treatments, but in particular...
Well, look, it's such a bad word to use. It's not gender-affirming at all. It's gender-denying.
Yeah.
Anyway, who's asked you to look at this, Stephen?
The client is Inflection Point New Zealand. It's an organisation of mostly parents of children. It's a conservative organisation.
Okay.
No shit, there's the most obvious statement there. So Inflection Point New Zealand, these guys. This is Inflection Point New Zealand. Now, you know, they've held a conference way back in the day. I think might have even been somewhere like at Te Papa or something.
Look at the speakers. Look at the speakers.
Look at the speakers. Ones we know of: Kelly Jane, Bob McCoskrie, Brian Tamaki, Simon O'Connor, the Landy sisters. So there is, and this lady here, Catherine Chewie, she's interesting because she seems to be, because they won't. We're going to get to a bit with Stephen Franks. He won't actually talk about who's behind this, like who are Inflection Point. But this lady here, Catherine Chewie, and I have no knowledge of how deep she is, but she has been their spokesperson in the past, and she is someone who seems to be intrinsically intertwined with Inflection Point as well. So back to the conversation.
Is it aligned to any other existing group or political group in New Zealand?
I don't know.
The answer is yes. It's that Let Women Speak. It's that whole world of that group of people.
I haven't seen any indication that it is, but when
who leads Inflection Group?
I'm not going to say.
Hang on, Stephen. I just want to hold you on here. I've been instructed by people, a group called Inflection Group, but I'm not going to say who they are. I'm already saying that this feels a bit dodgy.
Well, they're the clients. If they don't want to be named, but I can understand their reasons. The opposition has been hysterical. The threats to me. If you go on social media, you say that people want to cut off my arms, stuff saveloys up my nose. There's a whole lot of genuine.
No one should be threatened. No one should be threatened online. But I do wonder how stuffing Savaloys up one's nose can be taken anything other than laughed at. I'm going to stuff Savaloys up your nose.
Listen here, Cockachompy. If you want a threat, I'll give you a threat.
No.
No.
I'm going to break in. No.
I am going to leave sausages. I am going to leave sausages in that man's house that will leave him confused.
I am actually kind of going, that's why I'm being a bit careful. We are talking about lawyers and lawyers taking cases. So we're just going to have honest held beliefs and not be too silly about this one.
Hysterical rage from those whose
so you've written to the ministers. Who else did you write to, warning or saying, look, we're looking into this, we just want to make you aware of it?
Again, why would you write to the ministers in your role as a lawyer to say, hey ministers, we're looking at something? When I say I have an honest held belief, it feels a bit like a shakedown. It's like they don't, well, go and do your investigation. Why do you want to have a piece of paper from a lawyer's office go across that minister's desk? What's the purpose of that?
Wrote to the organisation, the professionals that call themselves PAPA, PATHA, who are the guidance group for these specialists. We wrote to, I think, 16 practices. I don't know how many individual practitioners that would involve. And we've also written to insurers, medical insurers, just advising them that this could take the path, and looks likely to me to take the path that previous medical scandals have taken, where what people just accepted as ordinary practice is suddenly revealed to have been brutal and useless.
All right. Okay. What is your hope by sending this letter, that people will stop providing this care?
Well, the clients hope that they will, I'm sure. But
so why send it to the ministers? If you want a particular group, this is, again, it feels like a warning shot across the ministers' bows. And you know what ministers this is going to? This is what I was saying, Chewie, about the national ministers who are too woke for some of these guys. These letters won't be going to Labour parties. They're going to ministers, which means they're going to National Party ministers, because there are many on the further right who are seeing the National Party as too woke for the right side of politics. And so these letters from lawyers are going to government ministers who are in the same political spectrum as these people, but they're not being hard enough on them. I think we're probably done with that, actually. But so this is the thing, yeah. So this is Inflection Point, and Stephen Franks wouldn't say who the clients' names were, which is bizarre, because if you go and have a look around under, Inflection Point, like, as I said earlier, Catherine Chua seems to be someone. I'm not suggesting that Catherine Chua is the person behind the employment of the lawyers, but her name seems to be pretty heavily, involved in press releases and that kind of stuff, the person. And if you have a look at what she's all about, as you would expect, Elon Musk in there, Annie O'Brien, Stephen Franks, just that's the feed, whatever her name is, Corona Shields. I always find it intriguing when people echo Elon Musk's voice talking about gender affirming care. What they don't seem to be aware of is, that hair transplant he got, that hair transplant that Elon got, that's gender affirming care. Do you know those breast implants that women get, perhaps women involved with Elon Musk? That's gender affirming care. That is helping yourself feel more the gender you are, more masculine. So Elon Musk is someone who has been the recipient of gender affirming care, and he spends half his time going off about gender affirming care. Bizarre.
That's not the only gender affirming care he's had.
Is that chest implants or something?
Yeah. No. The other day, she's deleted the tweet now, but Azalea Banks tweeted out that Elon had a botched penis implant,
Oh my gosh.
And Grimes commented on it. And I have never laughed so much in my life because it just tracks. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's gender affirming care. Like it's just ridiculous. These guys these groups, entire groups, spinning up to counter trans people. Like, it just seems to be a lot of money and a lot of effort targeted at not very many people, and certainly not any people with power who are just trying to live their life. And it is something that we have done before. Last time round, it was gay people. You know, and now we look back at that and go, oh, what backwards times those were. I can't believe that was even a thing. You know, it's just yuck. All of it is yuck. Like, what are these people about? They're so focused on someone's genitals and how somebody else feels about themselves. Just stay in your lane. Live your own life. If you don't want to transition to another gender, don't. It doesn't affect you at all. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Yeah, Grimes told me this too.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I feel like we're probably a bit ahead of the story. Not like breaking news, but it probably needs a lot more unpacking. But when I just heard the conversation that the law society, the law office, the firm that Stephen Franks has is sending letters to ministers in particular, informing them to be aware that they're doing some investigations on gender affirming care outlets. I'm just like, this, you know, at what point does like lobbying or does like, you know, just sort of a gentle, sort of a persuasive turn into, you know, if you guys don't come on board, I'm not suggesting it's at that point now, but where is the line between like, we're going to do this own thing and just, you know, it just feels a bit weird. It feels a bit, I mean, the whole subject matter feels a bit icky, but the way they're doing it also just feels a bit bizarre.
It feels borderline threatening, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but it feels somewhere in that Venn diagram. Like it's like just letting
it's on its way there.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. You might want to know for the future. I'm just letting you know.
Just letting you know that I've taken note of your position on this, and you know, maybe things change, and maybe this puts you on some sort of other list later down the track. You know,
maybe you'll be available to meet
3.0.
Maybe we can meet with you at some stage, and you can see some of our research. Maybe, you know, don't know. We don't want to make any assertions tonight, but it does feel a bit icky and a bit weird. And I guess that's it for tonight with that one. But I'll keep an eye on that. I think we should keep an eye on that.